let's talk about providence, a doctrine that for a lot of us feels pretty complex. But to help this big topic feel a little more digestible, I want to talk about providence using the imagery of an orchestra.
Step 1, let's cover the basics. Some of you might be asking, what even is providence? Here's how I like to define it. Providence is God's continued care and governance over all of His creation. That word provide is actually a root word for providence. God provides for what He creates. If creation is the world coming into being by the power of the word of the triune God, providence is Him continuing to uphold the world, to care for and rule over it through the power of His word.
All right, now let's talk about the how. How does providence work? And what does this have to do with an orchestra? Well, here's the spoiler. In this metaphor, the conductor is God, and we're the orchestra. Let's start here. The conductor is distinct from the orchestra, but still very much involved.
Likewise, God didn't create the world and then abandon it. And He also didn't create it and then become one with it. 1 Chronicles 29:11 says, "Yours is the dominion, O Lord, and you exalt yourself as head over all." He created and now reigns over and above all creation. He is involved, yes, but He's also separate from it. There are things that are true about Him that are not true about us.
You see, the conductor is also leading the orchestra members, but he's not actually playing the instruments himself. And this gets at a huge question in the doctrine of providence. Are you and I just puppets? Do we have any control over our lives? And as this comparison shows, I say yes, we do, with some limits. For example, the cellist can control how or what she's playing on her cello, but she can't go so far as to play, say, the trumpet part with her instrument. So each player has a specific role to play and is responsible for their part. But the conductor won't and doesn't just do it for them.
Along with that, each of these individual parts is part of something bigger and better. A full picture only the conductor can see.
The violin, the flute, the percussion players, they see only their parts. But the leader, the conductor, already knows how all of their parts will work together to form something more beautiful than what they could come up with if all the orchestra members were left to their own devices.
If we put our faith in God, we believe this to be true too about our lives. We are individuals working hard to follow the lead of our conductor, trusting that He has a plan far beyond anything we could dream up or imagine. This point is particularly important when we think about suffering and evil. Though it doesn't diminish our pain, we can trust Him because we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him.
The last comparison I want to draw here is what the conductor does when a player falls out of rhythm or tune with the plan. Does he stop everything to chastise and punish that player? No. He simply corrects and He guides them back in to the flow. Likewise, when we fall out of step with God's plan, we aren't subject to some type of cruel punishment. Instead, He lovingly redirects us so that we are in step with Him and His plan for us and all of creation.
So why does all of this matter? What implications does God's providence have on our everyday lives? We believe that the Lord is sovereign over everything. So in those really big moments of your life where nothing seems to be going according to your plan, you trust in His. But He's also in control even of what might feel really small. Job 37 tells us He's in control of the weather. Acts 17 says He's sovereign over the times and places in which people live. And Proverbs 16, He controls even seemingly random or chance occurrences. You get the point. He is in charge of and in control of every aspect of our lives. And His providence is never separate from His infinite goodness. Sure, providence would be scary if our God wasn't good, but He is good. So rather than allowing this whole idea to feel controlling or limiting, it ought to give us great freedom. We don't have to get hung up on those little decisions. We can take risks and chances, living boldly, knowing that He is in charge of everything.
When we put our faith and trust in the Creator, the conductor who knows and orchestrates all things, we're able to live our lives with great joy, hope, and peace. Our conductor is sovereign, wise, and in control, orchestrating a grand narrative of redemption. So let's end here with a quote from Tim Keller. He sums up the whole idea well when he says, "If we knew all God knows, we would ask for exactly what he gives."